The president of Hungary explains that our leaders in NATO and the United States would rather have us enter a third world war and nuclear war rather than admit how wrong they were by starting this war back in 2014. Because the Ukraine war did not start 2 years ago. It started 2014 when they canceled the Russian language in Ukraine and started bombing the Donetsk and Lugansk region of eastern Ukraine. After Russia tried to find peace through the Minsk I and II accords, which were violated by Ukraine, and the guarantors of Germany and France did nothing, and now the former leader of Germany admits that was just a delay tactic to build up the forces in Ukraine. Listen to the president of this country. He explains everything.
Dangerous things are now happening, I think, in NATO. Because we all know that in case there's a direct confrontation between NATO and the Russian Federation, it equals World War III. I mean, I don't think we would have a big debate on that. And when the war has started, we in NATO have made a very clear decision, united one. All 30, I think that time we were 30 of us have signed up for that decision. And the decision said that NATO is not party to the war. And number two, everything must be done in order to avoid any kind of direct confrontation between NATO and Russia. And what I see now, unfortunately, is kind of an attempt to erase this red line we have drawn together. And with the recent decisions of NATO, namely increasing the coordinating role of NATO when it comes to weapon deliveries and training of the Ukrainian soldiers, plus a 100 billion euro financial background for that, those bring NATO closer to this war than ever before. Therefore, we Hungarians made it very clear that there's no way a Hungarian troop would take part in such kind of action. No way such kind of actions could take place on the territory of Hungary. And no way a single Eurocent is being spent on such kind of actions from the money of the Hungarian taxpayers. But I think the question should be raised why such kind of dangerous and crazy ideas are being brought forward now. And I think the answer comes from the world of team sports. You know the proverb in team sports: best defense is offense. And what I do believe is that the European leaders are not ready to admit the obvious, that the strategy so far has not worked out. Because in case of admitting the failure of this strategy, the question will be raised: who is responsible for this failure? Why this kind of strategy was pushed forward? And since the negative impacts are being tangible on the everyday life of the European people, I'm pretty sure that this kind of questions would be raised. And I do believe that these leaders would like to avoid being held responsible, and they also put risk of such an escalation just in order to avoid being held responsible.